Hello and welcome to another edition of Sunday Morning Tailgate brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Big B and right now I'm only joined by my man Crispy Bacon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's final here, week one.
Week one is finally here. You are right, Chris. We will be joined by see you later, bud. All right. We will be joined later by Dave Messaround. He's getting on and Tim had something come up today, so he cannot be with us. But I do have his picks, and I do have his topic for tackling with Tim. So we'll definitely get that covered. But Chris, let's start off. Kind of talked about it a little bit. Thursday night's game, the opener.
Yeah.
I'll start first because I watched some of the game. I was kind of shocked on the final score. Stafford and the guys looked like they had the hangover still. I don't think it'll last long, but the Bills look legit. I mean, 100%. And for somebody that wanted to draft a good defense and take them number one overall, I mean, you're looking pretty good right now with that pick. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the final score wasn't. I mean, I could have went either way, but I had the. I think we all had the Rams picked. I could be wrong, but I know I did. So, Chris, what's your thoughts on the game?
I think I think LA was a 3-point favorite heading into
Yeah.
that game, and it ended up be what 20. I don't know, 27, somewhere
It was
around there.
31-10, I think, was the final.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think everybody was surprised on that. Just
Hmm.
that how Buffalo just I don't know went out there and played tough football, and I think you're right. LA had a little Super Bowl hangover. They got their rings, they got their banner. Maybe they're starstruck by The Rock showing up. I don't know, but something
Yeah, we
happened.
all we all get celebrity crush or what a
Like fan,
spot. Uh, I can't think of the word, but having the Rock always show up, he seems like he always electrifying. I mean, we watch wrestling, we know he's the most electrifying man in the show business. So the guy's
right?
everywhere. But so yeah, so this week we'll just kind of well, Chris, week one, what are you expecting your Cowboys, to do this week? I mean, we don't give
I
you a
don't.
prediction, but
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think it's maybe going to be that high of a score or that you know like what we saw from Buffalo, but I think you'll probably see a little improvement from last year's opening game when we faced Tampa Bay, and hopefully just a better overall NFL season for the Cowboys.
okay, yeah. For Minnesota here, I honestly don't know what to expect. Got new GM, new ownership. They focused a lot on their defense, which that was a Achilles heel last year. Just could not close out the games. We lost, I think, if I remember right, like 9 games, well, 9 or 10 games, less than 7 points, and I think half of those were on in the fourth quarter, final drive or something like that. So they had to shore up that defense. The offense, I'm not worried about. As long as Cook stays healthy, they can protect Cousins. I mean, you got Jefferson, you got Thielen, you got the other receiving core. We probably had the best backup running back in the league next to Chubb and Hunt out there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, Chris, we'll catch Dave up on his picks when he gets in here. But let's
Right.
okay, before last year we did a lock of the week. We're going to do that again. We're going to keep tallies. We're going to keep tallies of the win loss. The lock of the week, we're only going to be able to pick them once, so we're not going to be able to take you know the Bucks all year long, the Rams all year long. So Casey's chiming in. He's got the Vikings winning by 3 in an upset. Well, if you go by ESPN, Vikings are favored by a 1.5. So
Oh,
I mean, it's pretty much a pick 'em game, I think. But Casey, thank you for that
yeah.
pick. throwing your picks out there as we cover the games. If you got a little tidbit that you want to throw out there with the game too, go ahead. But the lock of the week, we're only going to be able to pick once a year. It could go anyway. Any lock you want. You want to take the points. You want to pick an upset. You can do whatever you want. So, all
Okay.
right. So the first game, Chris, we got the Nooners in Central Time, the early games.
Mhm.
We got the Saints versus the Falcons. Saints are minus 5.5. The over under for total points is 44. So, Chris, what do you see going on in this game?
Oh man, I mean, you have Saints without their head coach. I mean, they do have one, but
Yeah.
he retired. Jameis Winston's back, so I guess that's good for them at quarterback. And then you don't have Matt Ryan in Atlanta anymore. You have Marcus Mariota, who's been an okay backup. He's been a starter a couple times, but it's not really that good, I think, as a starter. So it like you said earlier, it's like a pick'em game. I'm not sure which way to go, but I guess since their head coach in New Orleans or their offensive coordinator now their head coach, there's still continuity there. I'm picking New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah. Tim's got the Saints. I'm picking the Saints. Like Chris, like you said, first year without uh,
Peyton.
Shane there, Peyton, Matt Ryan out to Atlanta. Some people have the Saints. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings that they got the Saints over dethroning the Bucks, and I don't know what Tom Brady did. That's going to be a hard feat. So once we get Dave on, we'll go back and get his pick.
Yeah.
We'll skip the next game because that's Dave's team, so we'll let him talk about that one. Let's go on to the Steelers versus the Bengals. Bengals favored by a touchdown. Over unders 44. I'll start. I got the Bengals. I think they're, you know, if the Rams have an over hangover from Super Bowl, then the Bengals might too. But I can see them still being hungry. Steelers right now, no Roethlisberger, so they're trying to decide. I would not be surprised if the Steelers and Trubisky pull this game out. I think it's going to be a close one. But yeah, I got the Bengals, and so does Tim Hendricks. He's got the Bengals too.
Yeah, I got the Bengals too. It is raining in Chicago right now. They had the turf or the tarp on in the field earlier. They also
Oh,
got new turf request by the head coach, but right now it's raining pretty good out there, so
yeah, but
I'm excited.
we're not talking about the Bears right now. We're talking about Cincinnati.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
let's
bad.
talk the Steelers Bengals. But thanks for that
Yeah, I'm
update.
picking Cincinnati. I'm not
All
sure
right.
how Pittsburgh's quarterback's gonna work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Trubisky's not a bad back, not a bad guy, but you got a lot of shoes to fill. I personally think Pickett should have been the guy there.
Yeah.
All right, game number 3 we're going to talk about. We got the Eagles favored at minus 5.5 versus the Lions. Over under is 48. Chris, I know I'll be surprised if you're picking that green and white team, but what do you got?
I am picking that team. I got the Eagles. I don't know. It's week one, and until I see what the Lions do, they're just the same old Lions. Um, but hopefully, Detroit can win against Philadelphia. But until proven, I see it. I'm picking Philly.
All right, for me, I mean, both Lions or not the Lions, Eagles have done a lot this offseason, retool
Hey,
that offense. Could they be on the same page? Possibly. Lions at home. Lions have always been a dangerous team, no matter who's back there. They've always been in clutch situations. Yes, I know they got god awful golf. I get that, but they've done some rebuilding themselves. Well, rebuilding for the last 30 some years.
yeah,
Um, I think Hutchinson. the number one draft pick. I think he's going to make an impact on the defense early and quite often. I'm going to go with the Lions in the upset here at home. I think it's going to be a close game. So
It will.
you will not be surprised if the Eagles win. I do not see a blowout in this game in
I
typical
don't
years.
either. But we didn't
So
see a blowout for the Bills game either. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. We did. Yeah. Tim is going with the Eagles himself. So moving on to the next game, we got the Patriots versus the Dolphins. Dolphins are 3.5 favorites. Point spread over under is 46. Um, I'm going with the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins, were pretty solid last year. The Patriots, they were up and down. Another solid team, but I think if Hill and Tua can connect, they got they got a nice combo there. Not like Mahomes and Hill, but they definitely got a good combo. The defense wasn't too shabby, but again, they're another team, new head coach in the mix there. A lot of people know I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater backer. I think he's the backup there still, and if crunch time comes in, I put the ball in Teddy's hands if needed to go out there and you know have a solid game if needed. But I'm going Dolphins. Tim Hendricks is going the Patriots. Chris, who do you got?
yeah, I got the Dolphins as well. I mean, Mac Jones is returning to New England. You still have Tua from Miami. Miami in the last three games at home is 3-0 against New England. You know, with Tua as quarterback. So I guess hopefully Miami can continue that winning streak, but I don't know. Without Brady in New England, it's a different team for Bill Belichick. So, and I think it's going to be the same result for Miami picking the Dolphins.
All right, yeah, it's going to be. And Dolphins got some young receivers out there along with Hill, so that could be a fun offense to watch.
Yeah,
So we got the Baltimore Ravens versus New York Jets. Ravens are favored by 6.5. Over under is 44. Chris, what you got?
yeah. I guess you can say this is one of two revenge games, if you want to call it that. You have Joe Flacco, who's now or was the backup quarterback for the Jets, now put into that starting quarterback role this week and for the next several weeks for the Jets. He played for the Ravens on a what was it 2012 Super Bowl team.
Yep.
Uh, so I guess it's kind of a revenge game,
Yep.
showing him why you let me go. Um, and then you have the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, who didn't get a contract in time per his demands, and now he's playing to show why he should get a contract. Of course, he doesn't have an agent either. Um,
Might be the
I'm,
best thing.
might be. I'm picking the Ravens.
Okay. Tim is picking the Jets, and so am I. Uh, Ravens. I don't know. Kind of a little mess right now. I mean, Jackson. I know a lot of people say, "Well, you like Jackson." Yeah, I like Jackson. I just seemed a mess. Flacco. Kind of a revenge game, like Chris said. Jets are hungry. I know they've been hungry for the last few years. And J Mac. Props to J Mac, our very own.
Hmm.
He's the one that picked Flacco to be the starter in Week 1, and we kind of all laughed at him, just like we did last year when he said the Bengals were going to make the Super Bowl. So,
He's the
uh,
fortune teller, kind of the NFL
yeah. Hey,
season.
Chris, you said you're taking the Ravens.
Yes.
Okay, you're taking the Ravens. So yeah, that should be definitely a good game. Moving on, we got the Jacksonville Jags versus Washington Commanders. A new era in Washington football starts today. Or the point spread's 3. Commanders are favored. Over under is 44. Chris, who do you got in this one?
Ooh, Washington and Jacksonville. I'm going Washington. I need to see more from Jacksonville. I know they got a new head coach, and you know they still have their quarterback from last year going into the second year, but I need to see more from Jacksonville. So I'm picking Washington.
All right. Tim's going with the Jags. For me, Chris, I'm kind of like you. I want to see more out of Jacksonville. I think they are going to be an improved team, another team. One of nine. This is the second one that had a new coach that we talked about, or actually third one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Viking for 1-2.
Yep. We'll get to them.
Yeah,
I think Jacksonville did a lot this offseason. I personally think I still would have traded the first pick and got a bunch of players in return, kind of like a reverse Herschel Walker deal. I'm going with the Commanders. They're at home. I might have went with Jacksonville if they're at Jacksonville, but I'm going to go with the Commanders mainly just because they're at home. But I would not be surprised if Jacksonville starts off 1-0 this year.
that would be a
Uh,
big improvement from last year.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so the next game is a pick'em game pretty much. The board has them even. Point spread is over under is 42. A big revenge game in the Browns versus the Panthers. Baker Mayfield gets to host his old team. We know all the problems with the Browns had this season.
Yeah,
Tim Hendricks is going with the Panthers. I'm going with the Panthers. I think Carolina is going to be a I should say much improved team, but they're going to be good. They got a good good to above average quarterback there. As long as McCaffrey stays healthy, I mean, you ain't got much to do there. I think that team is going to go as far as McCaffrey takes them if he stays healthy. Mayfield, I don't, wouldn't be surprised if he wins a couple games by himself. But the Browns did have a pretty good offensive line blocking for him last year. Um, I kind of wish the Browns didn't have the issues they had because I think this would have been a very good team with Watson and Mayfield. But I'm going Panthers. Chris, what are you going?
yeah, I'm going Panthers too. I mean, Baker Mayfield pretty much knows, I guess, a lot about the Browns. Um, and it's a revenge game. It's probably the most talked about revenge game this year or this week
So far,
uh,
yep.
so far. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I don't know if it's going to be high scoring, but it's going to be an interesting game.
Are you picking a tie like we did last year and almost nailed that sucker?
No, no tie.
No,
Although that
yeah,
would
I
be
don't, I don't,
interesting.
I don't. It could be one of those shootout games, but yeah, if both teams get over 20 points, I'll be surprised. Next game, Tim Hendricks' team, Colts minus 7.5, visiting the Texans. Point spread or over under is 45. Some reason Tim's got the Texans. I don't know why. I wish he was on here. Maybe he doesn't have faith in Matty Ice. Um, we'll definitely have to reach out to him next week and find out what his thinking was. Especially if he's wrong. If he's wrong, we gotta figure out what's going on. But for me, uh, I got the Colts. Texas got too many questions right now. Still, they're part of that little issue that was big issue going on with Watson. Traded some of their stars away the last couple of years, rebuilding, don't have an identity. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you who the mascot was. Really, I mean, they might have been changing that guy too. I don't know, but
Might have.
yeah. So I got the Colts. Chris, who do you got?
AFC South rivalry.
Yep.
Colts got a new quarterback, I think a new head coach too. Uh, Maybe not, but they did get a quarterback. Um, I trust Matt Ryan more than I trust Houston's quarterback. But Houston got a new head coach, pretty good. I'm going Houston.
You're going Houston?
I am.
Oh
That might be a
wow.
bad pick, but
Well, no, I don't think it's a bad pick. I don't think I could name the quarterback of Houston if he was sitting right next to me and introduced himself as the quarterback for Houston. I probably still
I,
wouldn't believe him.
I
You
couldn't
know,
either.
so we do have one more noon game. Thought we'd have Dave on, so we'll cover it right now. The 49ers visiting the Bears. 49ers are favored by 6.5. Point spread's 40. Tim Hendricks got the Bears. Chris, who do you have?
I got the Bears. I mean, 49ers are starting a quarterback that's 1-1, and he didn't really, he kind of struggled, didn't play that well. And I know last year was his rookie year. I think really, truly, this is like his rookie year. When you get your first start, even if it's your third year in the league, I consider you a rookie. And
Okay.
Lance is to me still a rookie.
Okay, yeah, yeah, like I said, Tim's got the Bears. You picked the Bears or you picked the Niners? I sorry.
Bears.
Oh, you did pick the Bears. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I'm picking the Bears too. I think they're going to be rejuvenated. Another team, new head coach, new GM. They made a lot of moves this offseason to help that offense give Field some weapons. They made a big move in trading Mack away, but I mean he was kind of injury prone. So we'll see if that affects them at all. But yeah, I'm going with the Bears. Niners maybe if they're at home, but I think the Niners still have a lot of questions, issues at quarterback. The old saying goes: if you got if you got two quarterbacks, you can't decide from you ain't got one. Um, yeah, all right, so that's the nooners there, or the early games, noon o'clock
Yeah.
in Central Time. I'm so used to saying noon o'clock games. So all right, so let's move into the later games, the afternoon games. We're going to start off by the New York Giants versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans favored by 5.5. Over unders 44. Tim Hendricks is going with the Titans. Chris, who are you taking?
I'm going with Tennessee. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have what is it, Barkley versus Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's way better than Barkley, but it's still an interesting matchup. Giants, they got a new coach from Buffalo. Um, I feel like it's going to be the same Giants with Daniel Jones as quarterback. That's why I'm picking Tennessee.
All right. For me, I'm going with the Titans. You got arguably the second best, one of the top two best running backs in the league in Henry. He played what 8 games and finished eighth in the top rushing last year or somewhere in there.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, he's on the field. Kind of like Tom Brady at quarterback. He's on the field. You can't count him out yet. Tannehill's, still he's a game manager. As long as he ain't making mistakes, Titans have a chance to win. On the other side of the ball, Giants. You might as well just. I hope they have a bunch of ambulance there every Giants game because it seems like they're always injury prone. I mean, Barkley can't stay healthy. Jones can't stay healthy. The
Yep.
mascot can't stay healthy. I don't know. They just don't seem to stay healthy until I can see their health. I think it's going to be a long season for New York Football Giants. Uh, Moving on to the next game, possibly one of the biggest rivalries this week. I know we got a couple other games to talk about, but Packers versus the Vikings at home. Vikings are favored by 1.5. Over under 46.5. This game has been breeding. I've been watching the line on this game all week long. It started off, I think Packers were favored, and then kind of switched. So, Chris, before I give my predictions, what do you got?
I'm sorry, Big B. I got to go to Green Bay. I mean, Vikings are at home though, and Green Bay struggled, uh, in Minnesota before, but I think that crowd's gonna be so loud, for Green Bay. Uh, but you have Aaron Rodgers, so I'm picking Green Bay.
Yeah, that's honestly, I ain't gonna lie, guys. I had a hard time picking this one, even in my work pick'em league.
Uh,
Um, If I'll tell you right now, if the Packers are at home, I'd take the Packers.
Yeah.
Uh, Vikings, new coordinator, new everybody, for GM down,
Yeah.
rebuild.
It's almost a new
Brought,
team.
brought in a lot of defensive players, brought in, the offense coordinator from the Rams who won the Super Bowl. A lot of hype. A lot of people are picking the Vikings to do good. Some picked Cousins to win MVP. Some got the Vikings in the Super Bowl. Packers, on the other hand, they lost Devontae Adams. They got Aaron Rodgers. Another guy. Aaron Rodgers is on the field. I can't count him out if that game is close. I can't. Vikings lost a lot of games late last year. That's why they shared up that defense. Oh man, I gotta go Vikings. I'm worried about not going Vikings and getting called a hater and bandwagon fan if they start winning. But
Right.
if this game was in Green Bay, I would definitely pick the Packers. But they're home, Vikings, Skull. Yeah, I gotta go Vikings. It will be a close game. I think. If this game is anywhere in double digit lead for any team, I will be shocked. So, all right, next we got the Kansas City Chiefs favored by 6.5 over the Cardinals. Point spread's 54. This is what the next few games we're going to talk about. They got some high scoring games, predicted by ESPN here. So, uh, by the
Not
way, Tim
surprised.
picked the Packers. He's also picking the Chiefs in this one.
Right.
I'm going to go and that offense is still a scary offense without Hill. They added Schuster. I think they might have added a few more pieces. They didn't shore up their defense like we all thought they would have. I mean, they picked up guys here and there, but you know, Cardinals have some questions with Murray and their offense. But I'm going to Chiefs. I can't not go with the Chiefs. Hey, and look who's with us finally after his 19th million nap this week. Or I don't know if he had to find his bear shirt. I don't know. So Dave,
Finally, the great one has returned to tailgate.
yeah, exactly. So Dave, we're gonna go quickly through the games. We just started the late games. So let's get your pick on Falcons Saints. Who do you got? If you want to go a little description, go ahead.
I'm going to take the Saints on this one. The Falcons are rebuilding, and they got some nice pieces with Pitts, and Mariota hasn't played in a few years, so it's going to take them a while to get.
All right, Steelers Bengals.
Who?
Steelers, Bengals.
Yeah.
Got to go with the Bengals.
All right.
That's right.
Who else do we got here? Lions or Eagles versus the Lions.
Lions with the upset.
All right, Dave's with me, a smart man. Pats and the Dolphins.
Dolphins. I'll never pick Patriots ever.
Yeah. Ravens and the Jets.
I'm taking Jets with the upset. Another upset.
All right. Jags and the Commanders.
I'm not going upset here. I guess it wouldn't be an upset because both teams are kind of bad. So I'm going to go with Jaguars.
All right. We got the Browns and the Panthers, a big revenge game.
The Baker revenge game. You got to go with Baker, the Panthers fan. It's going to be a great story if they win. I hope they do.
Colts and the Titans.
Oh, division game this year. I was tough. Derrick Henry's going to run all over the Colts today. I'm going to take the Colts. Or Titans, excuse me.
No, it's the Colts, Texans.
Oh, Texans. That's how you said Titans. I'm sorry. Give me the Colts.
All right. Give us your take on your game. 49ers versus the Bears.
I think this is a game that can go either way. It all depends on which quarterback plays better, Lance or Fields. Lance, I think, has only started 3 games his career, and the Niners aren't really fully trusting him. That's why they kept Garoppolo. I've heard rumors that he doesn't really know his playbook, and I don't know. I'm going to take my Bears. I can't go against my Bears.
I kind of figured you were going to do that. All right. So that's there. So moving into the afternoon games, Giants Titans.
Titans.
Okay. And then the border battle, Packers Vikings.
I think Minnesota's going to win. Taking the Vikings. I never pick Packers either.
I know it's hard to not pick them, but it's easy to not pick them. So, all right, we just got to the Kansas City Cardinals game. Tim and myself are taking the Chiefs. Dave, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Kansas City. I don't know how much offense the Cardinals are going to have without Hopkins for the first 6 games. I know they got other weapons, but Hopkins is a huge part of that. If you noticed last year when Hopkins was out, Murray really struggled. So I'm going to go with Kansas City.
All right, Chris, who are you taking in the Kansas City Cardinals game?
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City. You have Patrick Mahomes, although, Murray's pretty good too, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl. So going with Kansas City.
All right. We got the Raiders versus the Chargers. Dave, let's start with that. Chargers favored by 3.5. Point over under is 52. Who do you got?
Oh my gosh, the game's as good as the end of last year when they went to overtime with the playoff spot on the line. I don't know. It's a division game. These guys always play tough against each other. I'm going to go with the Raiders with Devontae Adams being new. I think he's going to make a huge splash today.
All right, Chris, how about you? Raiders Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Chargers. It's a home game for LA. That was an epic game last year to end the season, hopefully to get to the playoffs, but I'm picking the Chargers at home.
Okay, yeah, Tim and I also picked the Chargers. We both picked the Chargers. Yeah, that game, Week 18, what was it, a tie, and they both got in?
Yeah, they would have tied, yeah.
And the other one team took a timeout at the end, and they're like, fine, we'll just score then. So,
right.
Yeah,
both
get in and losers out. So, moving on, the Sunday night game, the Bucks versus the Cowboys. Bucks favored by 2.5. Point spread is over under is 50.5. I will start. I'm going to go with the Cowboys along with Tim. He's going with the Cowboys. Yes, I know I said with Brady on the field, you can't count him out. Something this year is just kind of fishy right now on what's going on in Bucks camp. The game's close. Yes, I put my money on Brady. 7 days out of 8. But Cowboys at home. Jerry Jones wants that ring every year, just like the Cowboy fans do. So I'm going Cowboys. Dave, what are you doing?
Like you said, man, can't count Tom Brady out whenever he plays the Bucks. I'm going to take the Bucks. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think they win by 3 at the end.
All right. Chris, okay. Get on your high horse. Here you go.
I'll make it my pick 'em, my lot.
Your lock of the week. All right.
I did it last year. I'm doing it again. I'm going Tampa Bay.
Ho ho!
Ooh!
Oh.
Shocker!
I did it last year.
Wow. Chris is going with the Bucks.
I don't know. I feel like
Oh.
Brady has something up his sleeve every year. He'll do something to win the game. I don't know. I just you face Brady and there's something special going on, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Dallas fans, if the Bucks win, blame Chris. We'll give you his address. Just email us your address. You can go at Egan's house.
See, that's a
I haven't even done my lock of the
homer.
week yet.
Really?
Yeah. That is one thing with all of us. We're not homers. Right. We could definitely, we might get called haters, which bugs the heck out of me, but we're gonna give it real. I mean,
yeah,
definitely. So yeah, I'm going Cowboys. So we're kind of split there. So the Monday night game, this is Tim's lock. He picked the Broncos to win. Broncos versus Seattle. Broncos are favored by 6.5. Over under 44. So Chris, who do you got?
For which game? Oh, Broncos.
Chris, who do you got? Oh,
Yeah, I got.
the Monday
I
night
got.
game.
Yeah, I got Denver for that one. I mean, Russell Wilson. He's with the Broncos
Okay.
now. He's facing his home team, so.
All right. Dave, mess around. What you got?
Yeah, everything Chris we just said. Russell Wilson coming back against his old team. He's gonna light it up today. He's gonna show them that I know they mutually agreed to part ways, but they're gonna miss him a lot, and he's gonna remind them why. He's gonna have a big game. I think Denver's gonna win.
Well, yeah, I got the Broncos too, and honestly, I got a different lock. If not, this would have been my lock because I think after everything I've heard this last week, that stuff are coming out that Russell Wilson knew they wanted to trade him a few years ago, and all this, there's hatred there. So yeah, I'm going Broncos too. So, Dave, what's your lock of the week?
Hold on, I'm looking over the games real quick.
Okay, and just to remind people, we're going to pick one lock, and we can only take that lock for once the whole year, and it could be anything. It could be a lock upset, or I guarantee this is going to happen at some point. So, Dave,
my lock of the week is the Saints. Saints over the Falcons.
Ooh.
I know it's an easy one.
Ooh, okay, I kind of like that. So, I'm going to go. My lock is going to involve one division, and that's going to be the North. I think the North, NFC North. After this week, we're going to be 3-1 because the game Packers Vikings is going to be a loser. But I think the Jets or the Lions and the Bears are all going to win. Of course, I picked the Vikings to win, so I think that's going to be a 3-1 division to start off. That's going to be my lock. The North is going to have a winning record after week 1.
So you got 3 teams as a lock, I guess.
My lock is 1, but yes, I got, and yes, I will not use those 3 teams again this year. So I will stick to that.
I'd be happy with that.
So, but I got the North. I think they're going to go 3-1. So, all right, Chris, let's get into our topics. Down number 1. And our ad, please. All right. So our ad.
Notice it.
And they do a great job. And if you want any questions, please email us, reach out to us, and we'll get you definitely in contact with them. So the first topic is tackling with Tim. His topic this week is: should teams only be allowed to sign a player to any number of year deal, or should it be limited? So we've seen a lot of, in all sports, we've seen these mega deals, 10, 14, 15-year deals come out. For me, I think it should be limited. I know, do whatever, sign. You want to keep your players around, that is totally fine. I get that. But I think a contract should not be more than 5 years. That's just my take. Give them whatever dollar amount they want as long as it's under the cap, but I think it should be a 5-year deal at least. Mess around, what do you think?
I don't know. I think you don't see a lot of longer deals in the NFL because the career span of an NFL player averages like, 4 to 5 years? I know Patrick Mahomes signed like a 14, 15-year deal, but you just don't see him like you do in baseball and basketball, those long-term deals like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a rookie,
I like that.
Yeah,
Chris?
when you're a rookie, you have a 4-year deal initially, and then you have that 5th-year option sometimes. If you're a first rounder, though, I think they should just keep it the way it is. There's not a lot of long-term contracts, so.
No, that's totally fine. I get it. So, Chris, let's move into down number 2.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Great jewelry company. If you need any jewelry for your loved ones, definitely reach out. We'll definitely get you in contact. Chris, let's go with the history take. Who do you got this week? What teams did you pick?
All right, for my history, I picked the Bears and the Lions. We're coming up to, I guess, the NFL's birthday, so to speak, on the 17th. Bears started in 1919. They didn't go into the NFL until 1920. Their first game was against Peoria.
Isn't Mike needed?
Peoria Tractors lost 3-0. A lot of low-scoring games back then. In their career, they are a 783 win team, 610 losses and 42 ties, 17-20 in the playoffs.
Okay, so
9 championships, 4 conference championships, 19 championships. As for the Lions, they kind of started a little late, 1930, but they originally started in Ohio. Their first game was against the New York Tornadoes, and they won that 13-6. They've been around 96 years with 570 wins, 694 losses, and 34 ties. Postseason record is 7-13, so not a lot of experience in the playoffs, but they've had 4 titles, 4 division wins, and 4 conference wins, but none in the Super Bowl.
All right. No, good history take. 2 teams with amazing running backs back in the day with Peyton and Sanders. For me, the one thing I'll always remember with the Bears outside of the 84, the Super Bowl shuffle, is the game they played. I want to say it was a playoff game against the Eagles where it was just couldn't even see the field. It was fog covered game.
The Fog Bowl.
Yeah, the Fog Bowl. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Dave, you're repping the Bears. They're your team, so what do you think of that history lesson there?
I thought it was great. I wasn't aware they had that many wins, to be honest, but hopefully they get more this year.
Yep. Not 17, though, hopefully. But anyway, so let's move on to topic 3 there, Chris.
Yeah, you want to do Bodine's book?
Yep. Throw out Bodine's book there. All right, Bodine Sanders, Race Against Race. It's on Amazon. Big East Conference supports it. Great book. I'm in the middle of reading it. It's his life journey through sports and just his personal life. A lot of things have touched me, just kind of thinking and reading. So, all right, Dave. So we're going to stop messing around with mess around. This one's coming home to you. Should the NFL in Chicago do whatever it takes to get the Bears a new stadium with the roof, or are they in the risk of losing them? So, Dave, what do you think?
Oh, that ship is sailed. They're moved to Arlington Heights. It's a done deal. They're trying, though. I think even if they gave them a dump, you can't give the Bears a dump. That's cold weather football. You take away that element, especially playoff times. That's huge. Unless it's a retractable dome. But still, the mayor there is trying to do everything to keep them in Chicago. But from what I've read, they're done. They're moving to Arlington Heights, but they're going to honor their lease at Soldier Field.
Okay. So how far is Arlington from Chicago?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And we're not talking Arlington, Texas.
I know.
So everybody, says, "Oh, Jack, they're going to do football." Dave, you're exactly right. I think they need to stay in Chicago. They need to do what they can, but as long as they stay in Illinois, that's going to still keep the big rivalry with the Packers.
Well,
I know a few people are like, "Oh, they're going to leave Chicago, leave Illinois." I don't think the NFL would ever do that. So
when they initially moved to Soldier Field, it was supposed to be a temporary thing. Papa Bear Hollis was trying to get his own stadium then.
Yeah.
And they've always wanted their own stadium, and they don't own that stadium. The
No.
Chicago Parkland owns it. So they've been trying to get their own stadium for years, and they're finally going to do it. And
Yeah. No, they definitely do. I hope they keep this, when that new stadium is built, keep the Soldier Field look likeness. I don't know. Dome, yeah, retractable. You get a retractable dome in there, you could do a lot more things. Possibly Super Bowl, appearance,
Yeah.
down there in Chicago. So
I bet they wish they had a roof. It's raining
yeah,
right now.
exactly. So, all right. So topic 4 is Big B's Big Baller. This is going to be brought to you by Oregon Cougar Football. As you guys know, C2C is the proud sponsor, and we get to view their games all year this year, road and home games. J-Mac, the bearded one, Jason Barber, he will be traveling with the team on the road games. We will have live coverage of Oregon Cougar football for the Women's Professional League. Again, if you want any information on that, reach out to us, and we'll get you in contact with whoever we need to. So, my big baller this week, man. You know what? I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson. I've been thinking about this. I almost took Hutchinson, the defense for the Lions, but I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson. I think he's gonna just ball out on Monday Night Football. I think that game is just gonna look scary, ugly. So that's who I'm gonna take. So with that being said, boys, Dave, I know you just got on here. What's your recap? We did our recap of the Thursday game. So give us your takes on the Thursday night game with the Bills and the Rams.
boy, was I wrong. I thought it was going to be close. I didn't think Buffalo beat them the way they did, 30 to, what was it, 12 or something?
Again? Yeah.
Crazy. I didn't think the Bills would do that to the Rams. But it's early. The Rams are still, gelling and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Allen Robinson only had one catch in that game.
Yeah. No, I think we all were on it. And, in our fantasy draft, Mr. Crispy Bacon took the Bills defense number 1. So he's looking pretty
And I got
stout
good
and they're
running
riding high
back,
on that pick right now. So,
Total of 24 points so far.
yep, exactly. So we got Chrissy chiming in here at the end. I hope the Bears get the elements of Soldier Field in the new stadium. Yeah, that would definitely be nice. And I'm shocked that the Bills beat the Rams. But, yeah, no doubt. I think everybody was in the world was shocked on that final score. I don't think we all expect it to be that one lopsided game. So, all right. So, week 1 for Morning Tailgates in the books. Games will start here about an hour or two. So, let's go around, give our final thoughts. Dave, we'll start with you.
Final thoughts. I hope Justin Fields tears it up today and shows everybody why he was taken to the first round and breaks that Ohio State quarterback curse and becomes the first great quarterback from Ohio State in the NFL.
All right. No doubt. Chris, how about you?
Week 1 is here, finally, after several weeks of preseason, roster cuts, all that fun stuff. We finally made it to the, I guess, official new year of the NFL. So it's gonna be a fun ride. Can't wait.
Yeah. With that being said, yeah, week 1's here.
It's a ride that's over before you know it. It sucks.
I hope everybody can enjoy week 1 and hope everybody's teams wins. I know there's going to be half the fan base is going to be upset because their team lost. Everybody can't win unless we all have a tie. That would be something.
That would.
But with that being said, keep checking out Coast to Coast all week long. We got, between the ropes tonight. We got On Deck on Tuesday. We got Creeping It Real on Thursday. OVW on Wednesday. Sports Minute. Or OVW on Thursdays. I'm sorry, guys. On Deck. Tuesday Night Mania. Just keep checking us out. Dave got his mess around show coming lunchtime with Dave. That'll be
I'm calling it nightcap with mess around.
Oh, nightcap. Okay. All right. Dinner time. All right. So with that being said, guys, Chris, thank you like always for doing what you do. Dave, thanks for hopping on. I know you had something going on this morning, but Tim, we'll see you back next week, hopefully. With that being said, check us out next Sunday for week 2 of Morning Tailgate. Have a good night, guys.